How did your sibling control your family? My sister required our entire family to complete her daily happiness checklist, which included complimenting her 5 times before noon, laughing at 3 of her jokes, and agreeing with 10 of her opinions, or she'd declare the day ruined and make our lives hell until we made it right. My sister Nell had always been the baby of the family and milked it for everything. She'd figured out early that crying got her whatever she wanted. By age 10, she'd trained our parents to drop everything when she was upset. She kept a mood journal where she rated each day, and our parents would panic over any day rated below an 8. They'd buy her presents, cancel plans, anything to boost her mood. When she turned 13, she decided that her happiness was everyone else's responsibility. She blamed us whenever she felt sad, saying we weren't trying hard enough to make her happy. Everything changed when Nell presented us with laminated cards at breakfast. They were daily happiness checklists with specific requirements: 5 compliments before noon, 3 genuine laughs at her jokes, 10 agreements with her opinions, 2 acts of service, and 1 gift. She explained that completing these would ensure she had a good day, which meant we'd all have a good day. If anyone failed to complete their checklist, she'd mark the day as ruined in her mood journal, and we'd face consequences. Our parents nodded along, desperate to avoid her tantrums. Dad even thanked her for being so organized about her needs. Every morning started with forced compliments. Nell, your hair looks amazing. Nell, you're so smart. Nell, that shirt really brings out your eyes. She'd check them off on her master list, rejecting any that sounded insincere. If you repeated a compliment from a previous day, it didn't count. Her jokes were painful. She'd tell the same knock-knock jokes, and we'd have to laugh like it was the first time. She started testing us with anti-jokes and nonsense to make sure we were really paying attention. And if you laughed at the wrong thing, she'd throw a fit. But if your laugh for what was supposed to be an actual joke wasn't convincing enough, you had to do it again until she was satisfied. The opinion agreements were the worst. She'd say things like math is pointless or dogs are better than cats, and we had to enthusiastically agree. Then she'd switch positions the next day, and we'd have to agree with the opposite. And then she'd get mad and call us liars. She kept track of everything in spreadsheets, making sure we never contradicted our forced agreements, but at the same time giving us no other choice but to change our mind whenever she did. There was no winning. When someone failed to complete their happiness checklist for the day, she'd have spectacular meltdowns. She'd scream that we didn't love her, throw things, lock herself in her room, but that was just the beginning. The real punishments came later. She'd hide our belongings, delete our saved games, pour salt in our food. She'd wake us up at 3 a.m. crying about how unloved she felt because Dad only gave 4 compliments, and we'd all have to gather around and comfort her. Miraculously, I got a boyfriend and started spending less time at home. I liked the guy, but what I really liked was having somewhere to go that wasn't under Nell's dominion. For 2 weeks, I missed most of Nell's checklist requirements because I was at my boyfriend's house. She had epic meltdowns, but I wasn't there to care. I discovered what life felt like without performing happiness for my sister. When I was home, I started refusing to participate since I knew I could just leave instead of dealing with the blowback. No more compliments, no fake laughing, no agreeing with her ridiculous opinions. She screamed and cried, but I put in headphones and ignored her until I could go over to my boyfriend's house. Our parents begged me to just comply, but I was done being held hostage by a 13-year-old's moods. Nell tried everything to break me. She filled my bed with glitter, cut up my favorite sweater, told my boyfriend I was cheating on him, but I held firm. I thought eventually she'd realize her power was gone. Nell went nuclear when she realized I wouldn't comply anymore. She created a point system where my defiance meant everyone else had to do double checklist duties. If I didn't give 5 compliments, Mom and Dad each had to give 10. She turned my parents against me, making them blame me for their increased suffering. She started including teachers and neighbors in her system, telling them they needed to complete happiness tasks or she'd take her own life. She gave my elderly neighbor a checklist requiring daily cookies. She told her teacher that without 15 class compliments, she'd have panic attacks. When people refused, she'd bang her head against walls until they gave in. She faked mental health crises when her daily happiness score was too low, always blaming specific people who'd failed their checklists. After her 3rd trip to the ER, she got a therapist who she immediately gave a checklist to. The therapist immediately recognized the manipulation and refused the checklist. When Nell had her typical meltdown right there in the office, banging her head against the wall, the therapist documented everything and called for a psychiatric evaluation. They found years of mood journals detailing punishments and spreadsheets tracking our forced compliance. Nell was placed in a therapeutic program for severe behavioral disorders. Our parents got mandated counseling for enabling her. I can't wait to move out and never talk to any of them again.